I have 700 students in my section, and then across the 3 campuses, we have face-to-face sections that have a total of about 200 students a semester. All our courses use Achieve. I am the course lead, so I construct the Achieve side and the Canvas side of the course for anyone who's not a full-time faculty member, so all our adjuncts, our visiting part-time instructors, and our PhD students. There are a couple features of Achieve that I find most valuable. As an instructor on that side with setting up the course, instant access and going codeless has been time-saving. As a course lead, being able to set up a parent course and then have control over the subsections also saves me a lot of startup time. When I'm thinking about it from the student learning perspective, I think learning curve is the best part of Achieve in terms of the tool that they can use for retrieval practice, as well as getting introduced to the subject. One of the biggest challenges that I face is making sure that students keep up with the material and are accessing the material for study time as well. So Achieve is useful because I can set up additional exercises that are not factored into their grade and also suggest a due date for those so they can stay on pace with their study habits without it being tied to the grade and affecting their progress to passing. One thing that I hear from students is they like using Learning Curve as a study aid. So in addition to having it as a homework assignment every week, they can revisit it and use it to study and prepare for the upcoming exam. They have a lot of different assignment variety types. So they have tools that are better pre-class and can get students' feet wet, so to speak. They have tools that help them work out problems and receive more help with the math side. They also have post-assessment tools preparing for exams and in-class assignments that you can use as well. One thing that's really great about the ebook are the interactive graphing tools. So instead of students being presented with a static graph, they can manipulate the supply and demand curves. They can then see how this will affect quantity demand and quantity supply, whether or not, let's say, a surplus or a shortage is created, and deadweight loss in each scenario. So the graphs really come alive for the students, and they can see how the concepts that they're reading statically can then be applied in this graphical model. When we have effects in side-by-side diagrams, such as perfect competition when we're looking at the market and the individual firm, or on the macro side as well. So the interactive graphs will sometimes allow you to manipulate the left graph and then see subsequent effects in the right graph as well. So combining the 2 graphs simultaneously as they move together, which even if we're teaching in class is difficult to do. I can only draw on one graph at a time and then move to the other graph and have that discussion. But I could pull up the interactive graphs in the classroom and they could see me manipulating one graph and also simultaneously see the effects in the second graph, which is very helpful. So I like to use iClicker for in-class participation and active learning activities, particularly when I'm working on peer instruction. When I have a particularly challenging question, I like to present it to the students as individuals. They open their iClicker, answer that question by themselves, and then I have them break off into groups, return to the same exact question using the group feature in iClicker. They have to come to a consensus within the group, and then we can see how their answers are then improving when they move from the individual to the group lesson. And then sometimes I add on a third question, which is similar to the original one, that they also have to answer individually, and you can see how individually their learning is improving as well as a result of the group peer instruction practice. One thing that I have to do as course lead is create courses for all of our adjuncts and PhD students who are also teaching principles of microeconomics. And it's extremely easy to do that in Achieve. I can create a course managing section, and then from within there, copy the same section to subsections for each of the individual instructors. If I need to make a change, I just need to make it in the course manager, and then I can push that change to all of the subsections. And then the individual instructors have some control over their subsections, or I can adjust the level of control that they have where if I don't want them to be able to manipulate due dates and so forth, I'm able to do that as well and cut that off from the section manager. So I find it really useful and very easy to set them up. If any problems or tech issues come up in the middle of the semester, I can always submit a ticket. I get a response within a day, the next day, and they're fixing the problem, updating me if the problem is going to take longer to fix. And they've been extremely responsive and helpful whenever I have an issue. Inclusive access, for me, it means seamless startup at the start of the semester. Students have access to the materials upon registration. It's codeless as soon as they have access to the Canvas courses, which is about a week before the semester begins. They also have access to the course materials. They can go from the LMS directly to Achieve seamlessly without problem. So the two main benefits of Achieve for me are, one, my students have access to a digital learning environment that is rich with resources that they can use to help study. There's an ebook, there's plenty of assignments, and it is definitely a resource that helps improve the learning process for students. And for me as an instructor, it helps with being able to deliver the course efficiently. I have limited resources, it allows me to complete grading in a timely manner, and also I have support from the wonderful people at Macmillan to make that possible.